Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay-at-Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone has had a wonderful 4th of July. I know we had so many parties to go to. I feel like life is now settling back in. We're on a normal schedule, but then we're going to pick up and we're going to be in Wildwood. We're going to be in the Jersey Shore. So I'm probably going to do a little repeat episode next week, but I will be recapping the premiere of The Real Housewives of Orange County later this week and releasing that for my new episode. So let's just dive right in. This is going to be a little Bravo tea, little gossip, a little catch-up session, because I did skip an episode because we had just so many things to do. I was like Miss Popular over here having so many pool parties. Thank God, too, because it's literally been 93 degrees. It's so hot. We're in Delaware, not Florida. My friend that lives in Florida, I think it's cooler down there for them. So I'm like, this heat, you need to be in a pool, honestly. So let's just dive right in to the big news that we all got, 4th of July. Nonetheless, then Lindsay Hubbard is pregnant with child. So this is no longer a rumor. This is no longer hearsay, because as we all remember, a little while ago, Dorinda apparently ratted Lindsay out to the producers for The Traitors, and she was replaced by Sierra, because I guess on The Traitors there are some activities that would not be safe for a pregnant lady. I don't watch The Traitors. I need to get into that and House of Villains, honestly. But Lindsay never came out and denied that she was pregnant, but she also never was like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. And I feel like it's because it was just too early on to announce. So that left us all wondering, is Dorinda just crazy? Is this just BS? Because this could happen. Because she was at Andrea's wedding, and I was watching hard to see if she was drinking on those little Instagram stories. And the only thing I saw was a picture of 2 drinks next to each other. She wasn't holding it, but it was probably a mocktail, like I have said. So she is pregnant. They did start filming Summer House this past weekend, and her and Carl are both in the house together. So obviously I have been wondering, is he excited for her because she's been wanting this for a while? Is he shocked? Is he upset? Is he mad? Lindsay's baby daddy, her boyfriend, is not in the public eye. I don't know if we're ever even going to see him on Summer House. Obviously, at one point, we will be seeing him because they will have the child. But she is just basically saying she does not care how Carl's reaction is for this pregnancy. She said she's just focused on her present and future, and to be honest, his emotions are no longer her responsibility. So we're not going to get a raging, drunk, activated Lindsay this season, but we are going to get a hormonal pregnant one, and that leads me to believe we're probably going to hear this quote out of her mouth again.
How many sandwiches have you made for me?
Because she's going to be all hungry and all hopped up on those hormones. And I was looking forward to seeing her and Danielle gallivant around, even though we did get news that Danielle is not returning. She said it was her choice to not return. That's still up in the air. I don't know if Bravo's just letting her lie and saying that she wanted to leave, or if she actually left on her own. I guess we will not know. But she said that she needed to leave in order to give herself all the time for that little app she's doing. Don't also know how that's going to work out long term. She said we will see her this season, though, but Lindsay is not only pregnant, so she won't be drinking, but she does have a boyfriend. So I feel a little sad that we're not going to get her and Danielle gallivanting up to Montauk to hook up with strangers in the late night. But I just need eyes on that house, because I just can't believe her and Carl are going to share the house together. Now we got West and Sierra reuniting after their awkward, we don't know what this hooking little friends with benefits situationship is, but I feel like you could share a house with someone after that. I don't honestly know how Carl and Lindsay are going to do sharing the house when they were supposed to get married And he had to break off their engagement and, as she says, quote unquote, blindside her. And she was very upset with the news. And that's why it's just blowing my mind that this time last year, she was thinking she was going to marry Carl. And now this summer, excuse me, this summer, she's pregnant with somebody else's baby. I mean, that's just crazy, honestly, to leap ahead that fast, in my opinion. But I am happy for Lindsay. She's wanted this for a long time. I feel like she seems happy with this new guy. Like I said, I don't know if we'll see him because he is pretty under the radar. I even just saw a picture today, and it was her and her boyfriend, and she put a giant heart over his face. It reminded me of like Kristen Cavallari doesn't show her kids' faces. She puts like giant emoji pictures over them. So Lindsay's doing that with the baby daddy, with her boyfriend. So I don't know if we'll ever see him. Definitely probably not on the show, but I can't wait to see what she has and all that. I wonder if they'll get married after this. I don't know, but she seems really happy, so good for Lindsay for that. And then on to other news. Like I said, I will be recapping later in the week, The Real Housewives of Orange County. It premieres Thursday, July 11th. So we got Shannon, Tamra, Heather, Emily, Gina, Jennifer, and a new housewife will be joining. Her name is Katie. I think she's friends with Gina, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, we're going to get a pop-in from Alexis Bellino. Now, I am feeling bad for Shannon already because I feel like it's just going to be a shit show having her on there, because I watched the little 7-minute premiere clip, and Shannon sits down with the daughters and she explains the DUI and how she's embarrassed that all that happened. So she's dealing with that. And then we got Alexis Bellino coming in and moving in on John Jansen. So I don't know. He is like the new Slade Smiley. He just wants to be with women that are on the Real Housewives of Orange County, I suppose. I feel like Alexis and him seem happy, but I don't know if they're using each other. I don't know if this is like what she ultimately wanted, to get back on the show, and this is something that would get you back on the show because it's pretty dramatic. But I'm glad that we're getting an appearance from Vicki, because she did say she was not going to come back on the show unless she was a full-time cast member, which gotta support that, because, you know, she knows her value, she knows her worth, but I am really glad that we are going to see her again. And she actually just started her own podcast, and today, July 8th, was the premiere. I need to listen to it. So it's with Christian Grey is the co-host, and his Instagram handle is so funny. He does like the funny memes and videos, and I think she'll be really funny on the podcast. We know her long non-friendship with Teddy Mellencamp. This is probably a little butting heads with them, because Teddy and Tamara have the Two T's in a Pod podcast. And I don't mind listening to it once in a blue moon if they have a really good guest on, because I do like listening to Tamara. But there is just something about Teddy. Like, she is just boring. I don't know. Like, I didn't hate her on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I was also like, you're not really my first pick. Like, I'm sure there's other people out there that are better than you. And I don't know, you would think being the daughter of John Mellencamp, she would have been a little more interesting. She's just a little like monotone and dry. So now chalk that up to you're just listening to her, not even watching her on the podcast. She can be a little monotone and dry. And sometimes when she recaps things, she doesn't know all the info. So I don't like that either. That's why I only recap what I watch. Like, even all the drama that was happening with Kenya on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, I just literally said one sentence of what was happening, and I didn't go into detail because I don't watch Atlanta. So I didn't want to report anything wrong, because I hate when I listen to people and I'm like, no, you didn't really say that right, or no, you don't even know who that is. Kind of like when Tom Sandoval went on Howie Mandel. Like, he didn't even watch the show. He didn't even know who Sheena Shea was. So you cannot interview people and or talk about a subject matter if you don't know every detail. So I'm sure that is going to come up on their podcast, that Vicki now has her own podcast and she's quote unquote copying them and trying to get in the mix of podcasts. But I think with a co-host, Vicki will do well, because I'm sorry, Vicki is good TV. It's just like, even if you don't like her, you gotta give her a pat on the back for being good TV. She's always been authentic herself, which we need on these shows, because some of these people come on and I think they need to play it up for the camera, just like I think our friend Jennifer Aiden is doing right now on New Jersey. So also, that's what we're going to get later in the next week, July 15th. We are going to get the cast from the Real Housewives of New Jersey dividing into two, going to Rails, which is always the scene of the crime, because that's where they had their little finale dinner. And that is why we are not having a reunion, because it gets physical again between Jennifer and Danielle. So we're going to split up into two, watch the last episode, and then give commentary and feedback. But this is what's going to happen. They're obviously going to divide them into the friend groups. So it's going to be like Rachel, Margaret, Danielle, Melissa, and I could see Dolo sitting in on that one. And then Teresa, Jennifer, Jackie, and then maybe Jen Fessler. And then I could see Dolo sitting in on that one too, because she's Switzerland. So maybe she'll go to both, and maybe perhaps she'll be the voice of reason in somebody's ear, because that's usually what reunions are for. They sometimes are to resolve conflict and have resolution, but they're also to address problems and just kind of call people out. Even if they're not going to apologize to you. And then Andy is the buffer and middleman to look at somebody and say, yeah, why did you do that? Can you explain your side? Or, yeah, that was really wrong of you to do that. Do you understand that now? So maybe Dolo will act as a buffer and mediator in this situation and be like an Andy Cohen. I don't know what's going to happen moving forward for Jersey. I definitely think Jennifer Aiden was fired because she never posts on her social media about the show. So I know I have said that before, but that's just my straight up opinion. These ladies are always posting the night that a new episode is on, let alone they're just posting in general about the show. And she hasn't done anything. And of all times, you're going to post the premiere. And I would feel like she would post her side of that argument and whatnot. So I don't know. Jersey's getting real dark, getting messy. I love seeing all the throwback videos, though. People are like, oh, people say that Jersey has never been this dark. And then they show all the old clips, when Rosie's screaming backstage and she's like, she talks about my father again, I'll rip her tongue out. And then Teresa's like, who's that? Who's talking? And Kathy's like, you know who that is. Yeah, it's like, who else would it be? Ding dong. But I mean, Jersey can tend to be dark, especially because it's family. I just don't know how they go forward, though. And then we saw a couple days ago on Instagram. So Melissa Gorga has 2.8 million followers on Instagram. And randomly out of the blue, Chanel Ayan from the Real Housewives of Dubai says, oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. She has more followers than Teresa. That's not true. And then later that day, Teresa posts a picture with Chanel Ayan and says, I love you. So when people kind of come for Melissa and Joe and saying, oh, all they do is talk about Teresa, they use Teresa as the storyline. First of all, they all use each other as the storyline, and they all talk about each other because that's what they have to do. The camera people or producers more come to their house and they definitely say, okay, Melissa, we need you and Joe to sit down together, have a glass of wine, and talk about blah, 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 blah. So it's not so much that the show is fake. It's just produced. They are moving it along. They are not necessarily always leaving it up to these people to have natural, organic conversations. They do need to say, hi, you need to go to lunch with this person and talk about this subject matter. But then obviously what comes out of everybody's mouth is natural, organic, and what they want to say, but they're almost getting like a subject. It's like when you write a paper for school. I'm giving you the subject matter, then you write me a 3-page paper with only like one space in between. Don't do the extra spaces. Remember when we would all always want to do that, the double spacing, but the teachers would be like, no, you can't do that because we know that trick. You're just trying to make your paper longer. Please do not do that. So I just don't know how they move forward, because Teresa has allegedly paid people to, attack Melissa and Joe on social media, other cast members like the Fudas. And people are coming out with receipts, with text messages, with proof. And then Teresa's like, oh, those text messages are fake, which that really can happen. But I just don't think that has happened because there are so many people and just so much proof. So I don't know what the future is for her or Jennifer. And I guess Teresa thought it would all be in do fun, doing all this mean stuff to everyone, kind of like,
Ha ha, laugh, funny.
but it's not ha ha laugh. We're not laughing. It's not funny. I think she's really pushing for the spin-off show with the daughters and with Louie, but I don't know if I want to see that. Gia is now on Making It in Manhattan, so they are filming, so it's all like some youngins from Bravo popping in. We got Ariana Bierman, we got Meredith Marks' son Brooks on it, and we got Gia. That's why Gia wanted to move in with the boyfriend, because apparently he has an apartment in New York. Maybe she thinks Louie's creepy and he's walking around in no-nose pajamas too, so she's like, I gotta get the heck out of here. So I don't know. I will give that show a whirl whenever it premieres. Not sure if it's going to be on Bravo or if it's just going to be like a Peacock thing, but I'll give it a whirl. I don't think she's going to be going to law school anytime soon, because she's kind of like doing this, kind of doing the influency thing. And you know what? Ride it out until it ends, which is what I think is happening for Jennifer Aydin, because I just don't know how you put hands on somebody and move forward. I don't know. And then I don't really know how we move forward, like I said before, with Teresa, who isn't friends with anybody, especially if Jennifer's gone. A process of elimination, she's got to be gone, because she always seems miserable when they're filming. And I don't like to see that. I do like watching Teresa when she's happy, like the olden days when she was with her friends. And speaking of friends, she addressed last week the friendship with Dina Manzo. She said she's really doubling down, saying they are still friends. Dina just didn't come to her wedding because she does not want to come to New Jersey anymore, because now we know that her ex-husband, Tommy Manzo, was locked up officially. He's getting like 40 years in jail, I think it was. Very long. He's definitely just going to be in jail forever, because he hired those people to go beat up her and her new husband. And she is scarred for life, never wants to come back to New Jersey because she's just scared, which leads me always to believe that the Manzos are in the mafia. That's totally true, I think, now, seeing something like that happen. That's why she said she didn't want to come back for Teresa's wedding. I don't know. That's weird to me, because I feel like you could do a quick in and out. You'd be surrounded by people. Like, no one would let anything happen to you. You would stay at like the hotel with all these people. I don't know. Then she said it's because she didn't want to be filmed. You could sign the waiver and say you don't want to be filmed. There was like 300 people, probably 400 people at that wedding. We didn't see like rando people's faces. We obviously just saw her cast members and the couple other Bravo celebrities that wanted to be filmed. So if Dina didn't want to, she didn't have to. I just really feel like they're not friends anymore, because then even when Teresa was on Watch What Happens Live, Andy asked right after the sentencing for Tommy Manzo, like, oh, have you texted Dina and asked how she is? And she's like, yeah, I texted her and I was like, oh, like, glad that happened. And then she thumbs up it. And Andy was like, oh, okay. And like Teresa's trying to play it off like, yeah, see, we're still friends, because she answered me. It's like, that's like a half-ass answer, a thumbs up, and that's it. And Teresa probably was like, I'm so glad you're safe and justice was served and blah, 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 blah. Something very emotional, that if you're best friends, let alone friends, I don't know. So that leads me to believe they are not. And then we see Teresa reuniting in person again with Jacqueline Larita. So they were in California, her and Louie, because he was doing business with Venivia, whatever the heck that shady business he's doing, that all the shady info is coming out. That if you guys haven't heard my last episode that I had Reality with Krista Marie on, she had the inside scoop on all that, all the info and the shadiness of Louie. She always gets me the good info and gossip on them. But they were in California because there's an office out there for that company. So her and Jacqueline reunited for some cocktails, some dinner. They were having margaritas. They were having chips and guac and salsa. And to be a fly on the wall for that like whole dinner. So Jacqueline and Chris now live in Orange County, because last time when her and Teresa got together for the first time, they were in Las Vegas. Her and Louie were, and Jacqueline and Chris still lived there. But now, since then, they have moved to Orange County, which, could you even imagine seeing her pop in on the Real Housewives of Orange County? Dead. Would love it. Bring a little Jersey, a little Italian style to the Real Housewives of Orange County. I would love it. Gina would maybe feel like an ally is there because she is from Long Island, because she always talks like this, even though last season she said she bought jarred sauce, which would be outlawed where she's from and the Italian culture. But I think that would be interesting. I wonder if Jacqueline has ever met any of them or been like friendly with them, because Jacqueline was on longer ago on Jersey, took a little break, and then came back on. But it was still a while ago where I feel like they didn't intermix things. Like there was no BravoCon back then. So if you lived far away from some of these Bravo celebrities, unless you were on Watch What Happens Live with them, you were not meeting them. You weren't crossing paths with them. That's why I think BravoCon is not only good for all of us Bravo fans, but really cool for all the Bravo celebrities to come together and meet each other, because some of them live so far away that they're never going to meet these people, and the only way they're getting to know them is on TV. And it's cool to mix it up and do all that. I'm so sad that BravoCon is not happening this year. So we're getting it November 2025. Just gives me more time to get more podcasts and more guests under my belt, and maybe some more little housewife like events in between then. But already saving up, already excited for that. And I don't know. I really don't know if there's much more gossip in the universe. The Valley is going to start picking up cameras soon. So we're going to see the fallout of Brittany and Jax. And I don't really know what's happening right now with them, though. It's like they're not back together, but she is spending time with Jax for a cruise, which is nice. But she has slept at their house some. It's like, Brittany, don't do this. Be strong. Her moving out and getting her own Airbnb, I was shocked. Like, I did always think she was just going to put up with his BS, and I was proud of her for getting out. But now I feel like she's slipping back into familiar things, because Jax like blew her cover, and he was like, I was listening to their podcast, I guess this was almost 2 weeks ago. He was like, oh yeah, remember you texted me and you were like, should we have sex? And I'm like, Jax, you were so annoying. And then he's getting like messy, putting up on his Instagram story a picture of Brittany just laying in their bed. So he's obviously trying to be like, oh, look, here she is. Like, we're hooking up again. Ha ha, I win. But you know what, Jax?
Rotten Hill.
Like, that's a no. Don't hurt the Kentucky Muffin. And if you have not made changes nor want to make changes, then just get out. Get out. In the words of JoJo, get out, leave. I don't know what's going to happen with them, but it's definitely going to be interesting having these cameras pick back up. I don't know the status of Vanderpump Rules. I don't think any of us know. Lala is still pregnant with the baby. I think she's due at like the beginning of September. She is a little spoiled. Like I went on my rant before, said she had to have that like Maybach drive her around because her water retention in her legs, but yet she's filming all these commercials standing on her feet. I don't know. That's the only way that she would have stayed with Randall forever. I think if he didn't like publicly cheat, I think she would have stayed with him. Like, in the back of my brain, I want to even say she like knew he was like doing bad stuff, but she just liked that lifestyle. And then maybe she was catching on that his money is kind of like fake and it's really not there. So I think that's why she's like, no, I got to get out. I need real money. I need real money, baby. But I don't know what's going to happen with Vanderpump. And Ariana is just like hot, hot, hot on Love Island, wearing all these skimpy dresses. Tom Sandoval is skipping around with his model girlfriend that, I guess all the Billy Lee stuff has died down. That was crazy. And she did all that drama when he was away. So I don't know. I'm just glad that we're getting the Real Housewives of Orange County back on. Jersey wasn't on this past weekend, they say, because of the holiday, but the holiday was 2 days before that. So I really think it was because they're trying to stretch out the season for Jersey. And now that they're going to be taping this Rails thing, they're going to have to quickly edit that, put that together, because that's going to be in place of our reunion. Very disappointed. I hope we find out some information if Jennifer Aydin is fired, because I also feel like if she's fired, is she even going to be at Rails? I don't know when they will pick up cameras. I think it's going to be the fall. There is no specific date. Andy said on Jeff Lewis podcast that they've tabled Jersey. They haven't even talked about it, or, they're just trying to focus on all the shows that are coming up, which I agree. Like, let that sit on the back burner. And I would like to see a Jersey Christmas anyway. So I think that'll be good to give all the ladies like a little cooling time. I saw that Vicki and Shannon are actually going to be at City Winery in Philly, but that's when I'm going to be in Wildwood next week. And I was like, oh, that would have been good to see the Dos Amigas. I was thinking about when I have to do like my little repeat episode next week for when we're away. I will do that like next Friday because I won't have time to record one while I'm down there, and I don't really want to bring all my stuff. I was thinking about throwing it back to when I did my episode with my friend in Florida, Jeannie, when we saw Shannon and Vicki in the light of Real Housewives of Orange County coming back on. And like I told you guys, I'm going to have the official Bravo mom who lives in Orange County recapping an episode with me. So I'm very excited, and I will have the recap out on Friday for everyone of Orange County. So I'll do the whole episode of just the recap of Orange County. If I can get the Bravo mom on for that one, that would be great. I don't know, because I will be packing my life away and our whole house to go to Wildwood. And I'm actually going to meet reality Krista Marie in person, because she is a Wildwood girl too. So we're going to meet in person. So that's so fun. I'm excited. She's always funny to have on. She gets very passionate. She's like, oh my God, I feel like I was like yelling on your podcast. And I'm like, no, we're just both Italian. And we like I'm talking with my hands right now, even though no one can see me. And we just get passionate about Jersey. And we get fired up when Louis' blood pressure and his face gets all red and purple and all the violence that's been happening. It's just gets violent. But I feel like that's it. And I am glad to be back doing an episode. I took the week off for celebrating the 4th of July and just relaxing. I hope everyone had a nice time relaxing or going to parties or hosting people. Our 6-year-old, she finally ate her first hot dog, because we have been begging her every summer, when there's cookouts, you got to eat a hamburger or a hot dog. And she finally ate a hot dog. And then the next day she ate a hot dog at another cookout. So I was like, you're just on a roll here. Maybe now we could get her to do a hamburger, and maybe we could get the littler one to like a hot dog or hamburger. But I'll take it for now that she did a hamburger, or a hot dog. Now I got to get the hamburger. Maybe when we're in Wildwood, she'll eat a hamburger. You never know. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify and Apple. Till next time, see ya.